What's good, everybody? Today I want to talk to you about something that's been coming up on my phone and the news and been across my mind lately, and that's active shooters. And I'm gonna talk to you about the importance of balance that we need in this country and around the world. I think it's a combination of multiple things. Getting these people the help that they need when you see the signs, whether they want it or not. I don't care if they don't want the mental help. They need to get it, force them to get it, so that way we can protect our citizens. And also practicing God's love, wanting to get these people help and not brushing these people off and ignoring the signs. Actually care about people who have mental health problems and inviting them in to get the help and giving them the confidence they need to get help, but and continuing to work on these people before the active shooting takes place. Many cases, there's been cases where there were signs before the active shooting, whether they're disgruntled about something or they're just going through stuff or they're not right in their head. We need to practice compassion and God's love and get these people the help they need before it gets to that point. And our citizens, we need to protect ourselves and get armed so that way we can protect our families if in the case of things like this happen. The most of the active shootings from what I see have been churches, malls, or like anywhere there's big gatherings, obviously. And people in churches and everything, in malls, etc., people should be able to be armed, because these people go in the mall, go in the church, and knock down people by the number and within seconds. And we need somebody to fill in the gap and stop that threat immediately. Help is on the way, but by the time the help comes, there'll be multiple homicides and multiple people dead. So it needs to take place. The citizens need to take actions into their own hand and protect themselves as well. Do it the right way, obviously. Get your gun license, study the self-defense laws, study your gun laws, practice with your firearm, get an instructor, and avoid a confrontation at all costs. But sometimes confrontations are inevitable and unavoidable, even when you're trying to escape or de-escalate. So, with that being said, we need people on the front line who are ready for things like this. And if people are not, comfortable with firearms, I suggest hire people like armed security at churches, because at this point, the price that we pay is significant. And we can sit here and say, yeah, that doesn't happen everywhere, it doesn't happen all the time. But why take those chances? Why wait until a mall, establishment, a church to get shot up before we take the proper precautions? So that's just been on my mind, man. We need to get these people the help they need before they step out and think that it's necessary to take others' lives because of what they're dealing with internally and mentally and spiritually. We need to pray for this world, practice God's love and compassion to others, and get these people the help they need. It's getting to the point where if somebody's off their hinges and they don't want help, it can't be ignored. We need to force them to get help. And some people may say, a few people may say, oh, that's not right. Everybody has rights and stuff, but we can't afford to have people taking people's lives because of what they're dealing with internally, or if there's a chemical imbalance in somebody's head, you know what I'm saying? So we need everybody to step up. Protection-wise, we need people to step up. Spiritually, we need people to step up and be more compassionate. This world can be a cruel place, and I'm not making excuses for people to go out and do what they do, but it starts somewhere. And it starts somewhere for them too. It starts with a thought. It starts with an emotion. It starts with event that happened in their lives, it starts somewhere. And we can mitigate that before it prolongs and it builds up and there's no place to release it, then we're in trouble. So we just need to pray and practice God's love and be more compassionate to those who are different from us and who may believe different things or think a different way or feel a different way or hear things a different way. And get these people to help if they whether they want it or not. Because at the end of the day, it's going to keep our loved ones safe. You know, stricter gun laws I don't think is the answer. Because you make stricter gun laws, then you're taking away guns from the citizens who need protection. Not just from active shooters, but home invasions, assaults, mass shootings, all that. It's our right. We have a right to protect our families. And we shouldn't be penalized for that because people can't get not getting the help they need or don't want the help that they need. We have to find a balance. We have to definitely find a balance because people are breaking in homes too. People are robbing people at gunpoint. You know, at this point, we live in a society where you give them everything you want after getting robbed and they still kill you. So, you know, it's never going to end, unfortunately. Things like this are going to happen all the time, and taking away our firearms is not the answer. I think it's arming our citizens and getting people the help they need before it gets worse is the answer. There's some cases where there are no signs that are shown, but that's probably small cases. You know, most of the cases there are signs where these people are upset about something, and they may not have nobody to talk to, or they feel like nobody understands, or they don't want nobody to understand. But they need to get help regardless, whether they want to or not. You know, because everybody deserves a clear, conscious mind, and everybody deserves to be loved and be happy. So let's practice God's love. Let's be more compassionate to our neighbors. Let's continue to pray for this world. You know, compassion doesn't mean being a pushover, but it doesn't mean ignoring the signs of the people around you who are going through things. So we need to wake up. We need to protect ourselves. And we need to show compassion to others and encourage people to get help and make mental health cool. And not make it seem like you're weak if there's something wrong with you. And start making these people believe getting help is the answer, and it actually is courageous.